The Haunting of the Myrtles Plantation, a true ghost story. Some ghost stories are legends, some are rumors passed down through generations, and then there are stories tied to real locations, places you can still visit today, where the air feels heavy and the shadows move in ways you can't explain. One of the most famous haunted locations in America sits quietly in St. Francisville, Louisiana, known as the Myrtles Plantation. It's a place of beauty, history, and tragedy. And for over 2 centuries, it has been whispered about as one of the most haunted homes in the country. This isn't just a tale of creaking floors and old ghostly rumors. This is a story backed by eyewitnesses, photographs, and guests who swore they left with memories they can't explain or erase. This is Whispers by Dark. The Myrtles Plantation was built in 1796 by General David Bradford. From the outside, it looks like a picture-perfect southern estate. Large oak trees draped with Spanish moss, wide porches, and elegant staircases. But behind that charm lies a darker history. Over the centuries, the plantation saw its share of suffering, disease, violence, and death. The most famous story involves a young enslaved woman named Chloe. According to legend, Chloe was caught eavesdropping on the family she served. As punishment, her ear was cut off. From that day on, she wore a green turban to hide the scar. In a desperate attempt to regain favor, Chloe baked a cake laced with poison, hoping only to make the children sick so she could nurse them back to health. But the plan went tragically wrong. The cake killed 3 members of the family. When the truth came out, Chloe was hanged by other enslaved workers, and her body thrown into the river. Since then, her spirit has been tied to the Myrtles Plantation. Guests and staff alike have reported seeing a woman in a green turban wandering the plantation. She's often described as silent, watching, her presence both sorrowful and chilling. One of the most famous pieces of evidence is a photograph taken in 1992 by the owners of the house, who were documenting the property for insurance purposes. When the photo came back, they were stunned to see a figure standing between 2 buildings, partially transparent, wearing what looks like a turban. Experts who examined the photo claimed it had not been altered. But Chloe isn't the only spirit said to roam the Myrtles. Visitors have reported children's laughter echoing through the empty rooms, rocking chairs that sway on their own, and piano keys that play softly with no one sitting at the bench. One guest reported waking in the middle of the night to see a young girl standing at the foot of their bed, only for her to vanish when the lights came on. Others say they felt hands tugging at their clothes, as if small children were begging for attention. One of the plantation's most chilling artifacts is an old mirror that still hangs in the house. According to tradition, when someone in the family dies, mirrors should be covered so that spirits aren't trapped inside. When the family members poisoned by Chloe died, the mirrors weren't covered, and ever since, visitors claim the mirrors hold their images. Strange handprints appear on the glass that cannot be cleaned away. Smudges and streaks form into faces, pressed against the inside, as if souls are crawling to get out. Guests who've taken photos of the mirror say that sometimes faint figures show up, faces that don't belong to anyone in the room. Over the years, countless guests have shared their terrifying experiences at the Myrtles Plantation. One man reported staying overnight in one of the guest rooms. Around 2 a.m., he woke to the sound of footsteps on the staircase. Thinking it was another guest, he ignored it until the footsteps stopped outside his door. Slowly, the knob turned, but the door never opened. When he got up to check, no one was there. Another woman said she was walking through the gardens at dusk when she saw a figure of a woman in old clothing staring at her from the veranda. When she waved, the figure slowly faded away. Even staff members admit the house is active. Some refuse to enter certain rooms alone, especially after dark. One tour guide claimed that while closing up for the night, she felt a hand pressed against her back, shoving her forward, even though she was alone. Of course, skeptics say many of the stories could be explained by old wiring, creaky wood, or the power of suggestion. The house is old, and the human mind was a way of filling in the blanks when we're expecting ghosts. But here's the thing, the stories are consistent. People who have never met, who come from different places, describe the same woman in the turban, the same children's laughter, the same eerie presence in the mirror. Even those who enter the house as skeptics often leave with questions they can't quite answer. The Myrtles Plantation remains one of the most haunted homes in America. Today it operates as a bed and breakfast, welcoming guests from all over the world who come hoping for an encounter with the supernatural. Some leave disappointed, but others leave shaken. Maybe the story of Chloe is just folklore. Maybe the mirror only plays tricks of light. Or maybe, just maybe, the Myrtles Plantation is truly a place where the past refuses to rest. So the next time you find yourself in Louisiana, you could book a night at the Myrtles. But remember this, if you hear footsteps outside your door, or catch a glimpse of a woman in a green turban, whatever you do, don't look too long. Because at the Myrtles Plantation, the dead are said to still walk among the living. And you stay safe out there, folks, and we'll see you on the next one.